since we're hanging around the prostate of the internet, I figured one of the places we could go is of course our dear friends at Flashpoint.
Here, just listen.
There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, Gene the Jesus Machine. And then what he's going to play, I'm guessing, because look at the title of this. Welcome to another New World Order. Oh my God, they're just saying New World Order. They're saying New World Order as if it's no fucking big deal. Don't they watch the internet? Don't they know that New World Order is code for something we made up? Don't we know that New World Order means Illuminati, means the Pentaveret? Don't they realize that? But they just say New World Order like it actually means an alliance of democracies that deal with each other on an equal footing, as opposed to the Old World Order. How could they want the New World Order when the Old World Order was so good? Remember slavery and feudalism and monarchy and warlords? That was, things were so much simpler back then. Why can't we go back to the Old World Order, where I can always picture myself as the man with no name in the old Clint Eastwood westerns? Man's got to know his limitations.
I think this presents us with some significant opportunities to make some real changes. You know, we are at an inflection point, I believe, in the world economy. Not just the world economy, in the world. It occurs every 3 or 4 generations. As one of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. And since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people died, but no.
Yeah. There's been little wars, and there's been stuff along the lines of like Afghanistan and other stuff, but we're not talking about 60 million people in 50 years dying. As a matter of fact, population, if you haven't noticed, even at that point, was way lower. So 60 million as a loss worldwide was a big fucking deal. Now there's 7.6 billion people on the earth, and we're still not even hitting those fucking numbers. Okay, but there, play this, and then he says, he's talking about a liberal world order, which is what everybody means when they talk about the New World Order. They talk about a liberal world order, where everybody is engaged as democracies, and there's a laissez-faire live and let live between countries, and we find stuff we can agree on, and and we let China and Russia and some of these other groups play in our sandbox because we were under the illusion that they meant well. And as they drop their authoritarian and dictatorial behaviors, then we let them join in. And now a bunch of them are fucking around and finding out that you don't get to stay in automatically.
Near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there. And we've got to lead it. And we've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it.
Oh my God. A united free world with America leading. Now, who thinks that normally these Flashpoint fuckos, if this was Reagan saying this, would go, finally, somebody has the guts, right?
Of a united world, Joe Biden is not the only one talking about this. It's actually made it to Star Trek. Watch.
We greet the President of United Earth.
Oh, right, because it's Stacey Abrams, and this was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And by the way, not a united Earth with a black lady in charge. What the fuck?
Madam President, welcome. I am so pleased that you've come. We are eager to begin diplomatic discussions.
Nothing to discuss. United Earth is ready right now to rejoin the Federation.
Yeah, and again, this is already when we already had a federation of planets, and we weren't split because of technology. We were already a united Earth, and then basically once we started hanging out with fucking Klingons, apparently there was a window where we were just dicks, and then they brought it back. And by the way, I got news for these assholes. I don't know if they've been watching Star Trek. Star Trek, hold on. I'm going to show you something that's going to upset Gene the Jesus Machine. You guys remember this? On fucking American television? What? Dear God! When did Star Trek get so woke? In 1966. That's the problem. They all all wokey woke. Look at this kissing and this loving. Look at that. Oh, it's great. This is the fall of it. Look at this, cheek to cheek. They even danced or something. Look at this. They're making. Look at this. What the heck is going on? The terrible. Gene the Jesus Machine is very upset. When did Star Trek get so, like, inclusive?
Could make me happier than to say those words.
Okay, first of all, who the fuck was that guy?
I know the Federation. And nothing could make me happier than to say those words.
All right. See, I got news for you. Gene the Jesus Machine. When there are people walking around in your orbit, no pun intended, that look like that, you've moved past humans are different from each other. One of the biggest things that makes racism just kind of vanish from the playing field is when these dudes show up. You do realize that, right? This fucking guy's got gills in his forehead.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay. You know, Stacey Abrams made it to as president of United Earth. Mario, you got the New World Order and the United Earth. The liberals are really...
We were always United Earth on Star Trek. There was no reason to think otherwise. As a matter of fact, do you know how many fucking episodes they did on Star Trek going back to periods in human history where people used to fight? They would find primitive planets where people were still Nazis, or there was still this Cold War was going on, all that shit, right? Where like humans in their early stages were at war with each other over some bullshit, and they were like, yeah, we don't interfere because you got to grow through that shit. And we on Earth don't have that problem anymore. And once we dealt with that bullshit and we realized everybody's equal and we all work together, we got off the fucking rock and we were able to go everywhere in the universe together. And then, by the way, this is Mario Scario. Super fucking creepy dude, by the way. I checked out some of Mario's prophecy stuff, and I was like, I wonder if I can find any of Mario's bullshit. And he's way funnier on here. His regular shit is just boring.
In some headway here.
You know, whenever these things happen, when they go out of their way to say the absurd and to theatrically...
Yes, out of their way to say the absurd, that the Earth would be united at some point in the year 3000, and that a black lady would get to be president. Oh my God.
Create this alternative universe.
Right.
You have to feel the desperation.
Yes. What kind of an asshole creates an alternative universe and pretends everything's fine when it isn't? Shit. Why do they never let me on these shows? Why do they never bring me on? Can't I be there live when this shit happens? Gene, I know you've seen these videos, you fucking moron. You phony Christian. You bullshit artist. Bring me on. I'll call you out. You'll call me out. You can call me names and say Satan and all kinds of shit like that. Come on.
On the left. You have to feel that what are they doing this for? Why are they so over the top, trying to manipulate?
Yeah, it is totally over the top. That over 1,000 years from now, right? The original series was 2200, right? But like the remnants of this one is like I guess it's 2800. So excuse me, 800 years in the future, or so.
reality. That's why I tell you, I don't play around. My schedule is extremely busy, but Flashpoint is a priority.
Yeah, but it's a priority. You don't fuck around. You're not going to go on some dumb show. Gene, he's on your show because you're the fucking man. And you call it out and well, I only drop by for the New World Order.
For me, because it's our time to look at you and counter these insane things like what you just saw. And the devil is
Yeah, it's insane that a black lady would be... Oh, God.
not going to get his one world order like he thinks. There's going to be an intervention.
No, dummy. They're not looking for a one world order. They're looking for a new liberal world order where the alliance of democracies, the world order that in free trade and free exchange of ideas that the democracies engage in, which is wholly different than dictatorships fighting with each other over resources and starting shit for no fucking reason. That's a whole different world. A whole new world where we don't bomb the shit out of you, where we don't take your shit and give you a hit. We make it all with sun and wind.
God, the power of God is going to be released in the earth in a mighty harvest.
The power of God is going to be released in the earth. First of all, how does that happen? Secondly, God's not already in the earth. I'm sorry, but these guys have a really narrow view of what God is. So God is so are we talking about the God of the Bible or Crom? Because Crom's already in the earth. Crom laughs at you four winds.
The power of God is going to be released in the earth in a mighty harvest.
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
Never before. But it's hard not to laugh at how desperate and unoriginal the left really is.
I have to laugh. It's so unoriginal. They've been doing all this racially inclusive science fiction. I gotta laugh. Gotta think like Mario Scario, and whenever possible, to look like him.
Right now.
All right. I agree, Mario. And it is true. It all seems.
With what? Wait a minute. You can't just say we agree. You agree with what? That God's going to fart into the earth and make magic happen? The shit are you talking about?
To come out
Cannonballs.
in the strangest of ways. Before I go to you.
What's the strangest of ways? Because she got a guest spot? Motherfucker, you have to understand. You want to talk about weird? All right. They think it's weird that Stacey Abrams played the president of a united earth in the future. Okay. Donald Trump, during the time that he was partying with Jeffrey Epstein, was in Home Alone 2. You get me? Trump was in Home Alone 2, the story of a child left unattended while he was having parties at Mar-a-Lago with Jeffrey fucking Epstein. Where is Jesus Christ?
Don, I want you to comment on this clip. Watch.
The governor and we were all doing a tour of the library here and talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children.
Right. So there's a book called The Passage of Time, and they were discussing it. She said the phrase multiple times. Obviously, that's Q code that I'm not aware of. But the idea is that you don't have that many days in your life, and that the difference between when we're talking about shit, it seems to zip by. But we've still got to lay down these lines, get these jobs, improve people's lives. But in a kid's life, Christmas is a long fucking way away, and every day seems like forever. To us, it zips by, but to them, each day has so much new stuff in it, so much meaning. You know, a conversation about fucking how it is to relate to different people's experiences. Like, why is this a thing?
John?
Oh, man. There's so much there. I don't know where to start.
Well, just start someplace. Start with the idea that you don't think time passes, and that I guess the government has always been lying about COVID because we're not treating it exactly the same as we did when there was no vaccine and nobody knew what it was. Talk to me about masks before the studies were done saying that masks actually help because they lower the amount of virus, even if they don't stop it entirely, that you express or that you receive into your body, which can affect whether or not you go to the hospital, because whether or not your body can fight it off in your immune system, if it gets overwhelmed by it, and how all of the folks that think they were helped by ivermectin, it's only because their immune system was fucked up because they had worms, and the ivermectin killed the parasites in their body, which toned down, I suppose, their immune response because it was reacting to COVID and worms.
Seems stoned to me, Gene. I didn't know where she's going and what she's talking about. And
that's true. That's a good point, Gene. Maybe you could help by playing the whole fucking clip that discusses the conversation that she was talking about instead of just the little piece where she says the phrase a couple of times and you think that's weird. Maybe play the actual context of what their goal was, where she went right after that, which was teed up by that phrase and how that was going to be a recurring theme in what she was saying. Play that. Or how about I come on your show and I play shit like
Atmospheric filth.
And
while they drown your endless torment of, what they do, they have an endless list of propaganda and propaganda methods.
Or maybe
And I was, part of a family that was very well knit.
What the fuck does that mean? I'm sorry. What are the Trumps hatched or macrameed? I don't know how.
Action replays in magnified fortune.
Anybody fucking knows? Anybody know what a nuclear stockpile is? Because it sounds
Nuclear
dangerous.
stockpiles.
Honestly.
Nuclear stockpiles.
At least the passage of time is a it's a real phrase.
Nuclear stockpiles.
What the fuck is it? Beyond that, what the fuck is atmospheric filth?
They do action replays in magnified fortune.
Right? What is the
Free health care for illegal... Look.
Honestly. All right.
When they gaze upon Yosemite.
Yeah. Which is, I think, a Bible verse. So.
Stacey Abrams thing, who ran for governor and refused to admit it, it's almost like what they're trying to do is line her up.
Wait a minute. Stacey Abrams refused to admit that she ran for governor? No wonder she lost. If anybody's thinking about running for office, and I certainly am, news is coming. One of the things you have to do when you're running for office, and I think legally you have to do this, is admit you're running, especially if you expect to win. Or even, one would think, get on the ballot. What the fuck would happen if she'd actually got the job?
Be governor so that they can make her president of the United States if she can win Georgia, and there's a lot that can be unpacked there. And then you've got Biden.
Then do it. Unpack what? We live in a world where a rising star in the Democratic Party might eventually run for president after she becomes a governor to show she can deal with electoral politics and actually win a statewide election and therefore tee herself up. You're telling me that Mike Huckabee's full of shit, man? Right.
Who, bless his heart, I pray for the president. I pray for every president. I don't care what party they are, but you almost...
Yeah, but what you pray for is the part I worry about.
Compassion for the man, but he's being used as a puppet to usher in these things. And it doesn't even have to be that he's the mastermind evil behind it, but there are evil spirits that are controlling world orders, and he's trying.
Well, yeah, of course. There's evil spirits controlling world orders. I mean, the world ordered flapjacks, and they never arrived. And I blame. I was in the car. We were in the drive-thru. It was me and the world, and we're sitting in the drive-thru, and they fuck you in the drive-thru. And I was like, I'll take a coffee. Black is fine. And then the world was like, I was like, what do you want? And he was like, flapjacks. And I was like, too early for flapjacks? Groundhog Day reference. Sorry. And they were like, yep, no problem. We pulled around, and they didn't even make them. So we had to sit there holding up the line because the world wanted flapjacks, and an evil spirit stole our flapjacks.
Lead it, and there you have some of the top leaders of the radical left movement, and it should motivate you to stay involved, use your voice, use your light into this darkness, because we are the hope of the world.
Yes, use your light into this darkness. And the best way to do it is the way Donald Trump told you to, which is to stick a light bulb up your ass and drink some bleach to fight off COVID. It's really the only way.
What?
Work. Yes, it's true. It is absolutely true. Hold on. I have to. Where the hell that is so loud? That's crazy. Satire. There we go. Animation. Keybind. No. Animation style. No. Length. All right. Wait, there you go. All right. All right. Just stuck there.
And if we don't speak up and get involved, that's my passion. And I agree with Mario. The reason I make time for, anytime you call me, Gene, the reason I make time for it is because I believe
that this is the best way to make some money, because Kenneth Copeland makes me come on here with you, Gene, and stare at your five-head.
There's a lot of thousands, tens of thousands of people out there that are listening to this, that they're the answer to what.
Tens of hundreds. I mean, technically, no. I take that back. They do actually have 630, let's see. They are 30,000 subscribers away from 666. I'm just saying. If you add my subscribers to their subscribers, 666. It's weird. I don't think that's an accident, do you? I have 30,000. They have 636,000. Coincidence? I think not. By the way, they have almost 750,000 subscribers, and yet only 46,000 views. I'm beginning to think some of their views are bullshit
on in this country. And so I love being a part of this, and part of my pitch, I know I do this a lot, so to me.
Oh, I have 30. You're right. I have 31 now. So we wouldn't be. I'm sorry. Yep, we beat the 30. That's happened. 1,100 people watching on YouTube. Please give a thumbs up and a like and support the show if you're so inclined. If you're a troll and you hate the show, thank you for sticking around, and thank you for writing shit in the chat that isn't bigoted and awful. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult for you to not use racial and anti-gay and misogynistic epithets. It's really difficult. I appreciate you dialing it back, subduing that part of you that itches to just put bile in chat rooms, and so that you can type stuff and it stays in there so that the algorithm knows that you find me engaging.
If you haven't signed up for Flashpoint Army, the reason you need to do it is because the world order that they want is to silence every one of our voices. And it's not just.
What the fuck are you talking about? The world order he's specifically talking about is a liberal world order that does not include China and Russia, who have an intranet now, both of them. Hey, guess what? Do you think Flashpoint is broadcast, the Victory Channel, the ironically named Victory Channel, and this asshole, millionvoices.org, your voice matters, use it well. Do you think those sites are on Russian or Chinese servers? I mean, I don't know about the Million Voices, but do you think these shows are broadcast in Russia or China? No?
get emails, it's so that if we get deplatformed in all these other places, you still get the truth out there delivered to you.
Well, just go on fucking Rumble or BitChute. Nobody gives a fuck. You just don't get to monetize using the ad rev on YouTube. That's all this is about. This isn't censorship. You want to be on the top channels, you got to play by their rules. I deal with it all the fucking time. And because I choose to swear in my videos, because I believe that if we learned anything from the Cosby affair, it's never trust a comedian that doesn't fucking swear. But in these guys, like, I get a little yellow monetization thing. I never get full monetization on any of my videos, is why I rely on Patreon and other stuff, because I swear. I swear. And I just live with that. Yeah, it's true. I get demoted because of that. And I could choose not to, but that's not the programming I want to make. And so I leave it at that. I just fucking deal with it.
So that's right. To me, the Star Trek silliness and a stoned vice president, it just seems like it. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. The Star Trek vice president in a stone is what?
And a stoned vice president. The Star Trek silliness and a stoned vice president, it just seems like it.
Oh, and a stoned vice president. Oh, I see. And a stone, because she's black and they smoke weed. You see. See, that's why she's stoned. She's not just repeating a phrase to try and key off a conversation she's going to have, yeah, stoned. You know, black people smoke weed. She's a black vice president. Of course, she's stoned. That's how it works, right? Fucking hell. But Hank Cooney-Coon likes that. Gene the Jesus Machine, Hank Cooney-Coon, Mario Scario, and I guess this is Stunt Lanny Walnuts right now. Looks like a neighbor character on an 80s sitcom that wasn't asked back.
It was bizarre.
Yeah, it does seem bizarre. And listen, you say you're being mean. No, we're not being mean.
Yes, you are. People are telling you you're being mean in the chat because you're being mean. You're being a dick. You're being anti-Christian. You're lying.
The absurd is why we're trying to show you.
No, it's not because it's absurd. You're not showing me a fucking squirrel on water skis and going, that's ridiculous. We got all these things and people are there. So who's dressing up mice and putting hats on them? This is ridiculous. You know what's weird? TikTok videos where they do these makeup to kids today. You're not talking about absurdities, fucko. You're claiming that the president of the United States is a puppet for evil spirits and that the vice president is stoned because she's black and she repeated a phrase that was going to be the key point she was discussing about how crucial time is and how different it is for some people's experience versus others. You are being a fake Christian.
Sometimes we get so caught up in the fray of news.
Yeah, there's so much craziness going on. You kind of just have to be a lying, hypocritical, anti-Jesus piece of shit. You just have to. You know what I mean? We all get caught up in the groundswell. You know, we're just kind of, we're just joking around, and then all of a sudden, the racism just falls out. You know what I mean? It's like when you get drunk and alcohol just turns you racist. Yeah, I think Gene, actually, they have there's a phrase you might be familiar with for this kind of behavior, that you are under the influence of evil spirits and they are using you to create hell on earth. You're currently being antichrist-ish. How about that?
After news story, and if you're not careful, you got to step back and look at what you're listening to. And Pastor Hank, at one of the
yes, step back and look at what you're listening to. I mean, look, if it was just a part of like somebody's a guest on a show. You ever see somebody interviewed by the local news and they've never been on TV before and they seem strangely articulate in a horrible situation? You're like, that good for them. Because a lot of people have a problem speaking on camera and it gets, they'll get nervous or they'll stumble on their words or they'll say the opposite of what they thought they were saying because they were trying to make a point about the opposite thing, and then they'll mispronounce a word, or they'll invert their argument because they're speaking in the second person without referencing it directly, figuring because they're used to speaking shorthand with their friends that people watching on television when this is edited later will know what they're talking about, like that kind of stuff. You ever see people like that and they're like, oh yeah, you forgive them. This motherfucker's on TV all the time. You don't get to say, I got carried away, we were just watching. Sometimes it's so absurd. You can't do anything but be a racist prick.
It's a common thread in all of this is there's talking about, which I agree with, about the passage of time and the day in the life of our youth. It seems to all come back on our children. So many things that we've talked about over the past.
Yes, I believe the children are our future. Treat them well and let them lead the way. Actually, I don't believe that at all. I think children aren't the future because children turn into adults. How you treat a child today creates adults of the future. And so metaphorically, I can work with it. But let them lead the way? No. Children often have a very limited view of the world, and their solution matrix is pretty lacking. I'm just saying, especially in an emergency. I'm not going to ask anybody who wears a diaper at either end of their life which way I should run when there's a fire. It just, like, yes.
Year and a half have been children related. What it is that we're trying to keep from happening to our children, judgments against our children, things that people are coming to try and indoctrinate them in our children. But you had to actually.
They're trying to indoctrinate them in our children. I don't know what you're talking about, Gene, and you're creeping the fuck out. Yes. When the children drive, the pedestrians die. And when the children sink, when the car falls off the bridge.
Prophecy about that. I know I'm kind of throwing you a curveball here about the children that we need to.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got to have a prophecy about the children. Let's prophet. What's going to happen to the children?
We need to pay attention.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, the passage of.
Right. By the way, that's a good point. We need an expert to deal with this. Somebody who can understand what's happening. Somebody, who has firsthand knowledge of what these folks are talking about. And yeah, let's see. I think I can do it.
Time is so important for the passage of time.
It is.
And as I respond to this with the
time passages. Do-do-bo-do-bo-do-bo. Time passages. Time stands still. I'm not looking back 'cause I want to look around. Time stands still. That's a lady from Till Tuesday, which is a day of the week, which is a marker for time.
Of time, we must realize that the children are part of this passage of time, and my answer will be part of
that. That's true. Sometimes I will pass the time by making fart bubbles in the tub.
Passage of time. But here's the real deal. The earth is the Lord's.
Why? I'm scared. Why did Mario start looking at me now? Mario was not looking at this side of the screen till I showed up. Why did scary man? Scary man. I'm not getting in the van. Somebody's knocking on the van. Somebody's going to hell.
And the fullness thereof.
Uh-oh.
So for these that we just saw with the clips, first and foremost, Pastor Gene, they need to understand that the devil will often advertise and try to counterfeit what.
Yes, the devil will sometimes pretend to be a Christian minister and then we'll try to get you and your mom to join him at his compound in Waco, Texas, where he makes you clean the barn while he tries to get her to show him his undergarments.
He is absolutely threatened and controlled by the very spirit of fear that he is. You know what he's afraid of? He's afraid of God's order coming. He's afraid of a path.
Well, that's because no one has an umbrella that big.
Of time that is going to come and bring continual exposure to what they have done to the people.
I'm not going. If you're going to expose yourself, I have to go call policeman.
Of this nation and what is happening around the earth, and especially the children. So the Spirit of the Lord prophesies.
Especially is not a word. It's especially. Especially would be formerly special. I learned that in 2nd grade.
Something very interesting. And he said, because they have touched the children. And he talked about Ukraine. He talked about...
excuse me. Citation needed.
Even Taiwan. He talked about the United States. And he said, you may call it conspiracy, but God says, I am looking and I am seeing what they've done. And they will be brought to justice. But here's the beauty.
Who's the they? Who's the they? They who? Who's them? Who are they? Who is they? Only they know who is them.
Of it. All the stuff that they've been shoving at.
See, that was the hand gesture he used when my mom was like, we're leaving.
Our children with the curriculums and the different things that they've had to swallow, the children, wearing the mask.
You don't swallow a mask, you'll choke. Also chew your food. You swallow fruit roll-ups. You swallow soup. You swallow breakfast and lunch and dinner, and sometimes dunch, which is like brunch ladle after mommy's been whoop whoop. That to do the thing.
God said there would be an anointing that would be released upon the children of this generation, and He said,
"Yes, we read a poem about that by John Lillithant, England's greatest one-armed poet, and they made us memorize it, which is, oh pointy birds, oh pointy pointy, anoint my head, anointy.
There would be, even from the mouths of the children, they would begin to say, let us go to the house of the Lord. There is coming a tremendous.
Let us go to the house of pancakes. That's a different house. I want to go to the house of pancakes.
Tremendous move of God. If God could speak to a silly little Samuel at a very young age, and he heard the voice of God, it became something very powerful for God and for the kingdom.
We had a kid named Samuel in my 3rd grade class who thought he could hear the voice of God, and he's in a hospital now.
Is where we're coming with our children. And there is a movement of holiness and righteousness that will not be the traditions of men, but it will be the cry of their heart to know God and to walk in ways that are honorable. I'm telling you, there's even coming a sexual revolution.
Okay, this is inappropriate. I have to go. I cannot be around when you talk about children and stuff like this and a revolution like that. That we don't talk about that till 7th grade. When you get the hair conversation that my older brother told me about. Ugh. And the girls have to go in one room and we have to go in the other room. It's nasty. I'm not gonna do it. I'm out. Jesus. This is this dude's fucking this is his prophecy about the children. Run this by me again, dum-dum.
Walk in ways that are honorable. I'm telling you, there's even coming a sexual revolution in reverse, and it will be championed by the children. So that's why the enemy's been.
Hey. No. All right. Quiet part loud. What the fuck? I'm so glad I got baby Hal out of here. What the fuck? A sexual, excuse me. As somebody who's actually experienced sort of what I would call a sexual revolution in reverse, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. This is horrible. What he means is a reclamation of virginity and a disdain for sex. Because nothing scares this asshole more than having sex with a woman who's already had sex and has some standard to judge him by.
On him, but it's going to backfire.
Well, that's what happens when you have a sexual revolution in reverse. There's a chance it will backfire. And you just have to take precautions. Everybody needs to stay in the, if you're going to try that stuff, experimentation, being what it is nothing to be worry about. That it is if you're going to have
and by the children. So that's why the enemy's been so hard on them. But it's
what? How? Oh, did he just say hard on too? Good Lord. Ew.
It will be championed by the children. So that's why the enemy's been so hard on them. But it's going to backfire. And we've got a whole new generation of children.
Hold on. Sexual revolution in reverse. People have been hard on the children, and it's going to backfire. What kind of Freudian nightmare am I caught in with this asshole? What is happening? What?
Reformers that are going to rise, and we're going to take our nations back.
Amen. Boy, that's good.
Oh, I'm sorry, your nations, plural? From who? What nations are you talking about? Are you going to, jumpstart Russia again? What the fuck?
I agree, Pastor Hank. Mario, history has shown us in revival, it's the young people. Now, I know that we talk.
All right, I'm getting creeped out. Honest to God. These guys are creeping me out. You got these 4 dudes talking about sex and children, and it's weirding me out. The whole thing.
About young people being high school, college age, but the fact that the left and this liberal demonic agenda that's actually attacked our children is not going for the high schooler. They're going for the 4 and the 5-year-old. I mean, in ways like we've never seen before. We do.
What?
Have to take our stand to not let that happen in our lifetimes.
What I love is on this show, you'll hear prophetic words from Hank, and we'll see some on tape that he's given years ago. And when he shared
Yes, all of which is vague bullshit.
that one tonight, because I don't know if anyone picked up on it, but he was prophesying just now. The one thing that I want.
Yeah, he asked him to prophesy, and he told what God thought, which is prophecy. I mean, he wasn't really prophesying. He was riffing bullshit, but I get what you're saying.
And I got to get it out of my system, is that they're not going to have our children.
Amen.
They're not going to have them. Jesus said, suffer the little children to come unto me, for such is the...
All right, I'm out. Just fucking, oh God. What is happening? I'm in double entendre hell. Can you guys not say children and come in the same sentence 15 fucking times? Jesus. I'm out. Sorry. We're done. This is 20 minutes long. No. Just fucking no.